It's time for your weekly dose of Toni Told Me. As you know, we are out every single Tuesday. You can find us wherever you get your podcast, and we always launch a video at 5 p.m. on Tuesdays. So you guys know that I am getting married this year, and marriage has been a hot topic in my household. Today I've got a special guest, and I want to pick this person's brain because I want to find out more about marriage from a man's perspective. My guest today is my brother, Tomi.
Hello.
Hello. It's nice to have you.
Oh, thanks. Your best guest so far of all time, potentially.
You're right. And yeah, my brother's been married for 4 years now. You got married in 2021.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to talk to Tomi. I want to have a very open and candid conversation about what marriage looks like for him, some of the challenges, some of the positives. But before we get into that, what have you been up to, bro?
Yeah, same old stuff, cars and more cars.
Yeah, let me give you a bigger intro than that, because it's one thing introducing you as my brother, but for those who don't know, my brother is recognized by quite a few people as Tommy Auto. He is a luxury car influencer. So he has a massive following, almost 1 million followers on TikTok. He's got loads of followers on Instagram, and he's known for reviewing, testing, buying, selling, everything to do
anything
with
car related.
Anything
basically.
car related.
That's
yeah.
my vibe.
That's
it's funny because it's like
Tommy.
I just do that anyway.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
His hobby is his job, which is very cool.
Yeah. That happened before though with music, because music was my hobby and then turned into a job, and then I hated it and I was like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, that's true. You're very lucky.
Yeah, music, cars is different though, because cars, it's like you don't really have to deal with that many people. It's just talking about cars.
You're more of an introvert.
Yeah.
So how's life been? Like, how's the car stuff going?
Car stuff's going well. It's
How's my favorite person in the whole world?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
No, I'm talking about your son. I'm talking about my nephew.
Yeah, no,
I'm talking about you.
My son, he's doing great. His cognitive progression has been insane. Like what he does these days.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
You know what? I think your child is the only child I've ever met who at 1 year of age can say Lamborghini.
Yeah, and he can pick out a Lamborghini. Like if he sees a Lamborghini on TV, it'll be Lamborghini. And he knows G-Wagon as well.
Anisha, it's mad. Like, this is how you know my brother is a luxury car influencer, because my nephew will be walking around the house.
Oh, you have a mic back there as well?
I do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, producer Anisha has a mic.
Because
have you ever watched an episode of my podcast?
I was driving in the car and I was listening, and every episode, as you guys know, I'm getting married. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
But I thought you were talking. I thought you were talking over. So that's like an editing trick to make it sound like you're far away. Is that how you do it?
Yeah.
Is that how you do it?
Why did I get him on this podcast?
I don't know why, because you're going to get rinsed today.
Already, the rudeness has begun.
Oh my God.
I have to mention
As
the
you
marriage.
guys know, I'm getting married.
First of all, I mentioned that the first few times because Tyler was my guest.
Absolutely.
To add context. I didn't mention that in the other episodes.
Tyler was your guest
twice.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, okay.
And then in my episodes about like mental health.
Oh no, you said it in the money
finance,
one. You said it in the money one.
In the money one.
Yeah, you said, as you guys know, I'm getting married, so I've been planning a lot this year.
Yeah, but when I give you I'm giving you updates.
About the wedding dress. I did get offered a free wedding dress.
You're actually an idiot. He's so rude. Actually, Anisha, cut the cameras.
Listen. Your guests. Do you know what your guests want? Your guests want the realness. Like Toni, your podcast is great, yeah, but you're gonna the Toni that I complain about is gonna come out today. Yeah, I'm gonna force it out.
You're so rude. Anywho, back to my lovely nephew, right? His dad has a Lamborghini and other cars, and he has a lot of toy replicas of my brother's cars, and he'll literally walk around the house and be like, Lamborghini, Ferrari. He's won.
He's got good taste.
He has good taste. He has great taste.
He should be talking about Peppa Pig.
No, he doesn't watch Peppa Pig. I don't think Peppa Pig's good for a child's development at that age.
Why?
Because she's got an attitude. I'm being dead serious. A really bad attitude. So he's never watched Peppa Pig. He's never watched like Cocomelon, because that's just.
Oh my God, he's never watched Cocomelon.
That just stuff is just it's just to overstimulate your child to keep them engaged. Whereas we prefer anything that keeps him engaged but is educational at the same time.
Oh, he loves Miss Rachel.
He loves Miss Rachel.
Oh my God, you show him a picture of Miss Rachel. He goes, Rachel. I'm like, oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
I have no clue what you're on about, guys.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, I guess if you don't have kids or no little kids, you'd be like, what the hell? Okay, fair enough. But it sounds like you've been well.
Yeah, I've been good. It's just life is life in.
Life is life
in the best way possible. I took something profound from one of your TikToks where you said, why am I complaining about something that I prayed for? And since you said that, I've just been applying that to everything. So anytime I get like a job come in, you have to record this, or you have to do this, or can you come here, or can we film at your house tomorrow at 9, or do this? Before I used to be like, but now I'm like, you know what? I would have, I would have done anything to be in the position I am in now.
Yeah.
So let me just take it in, appreciate it. So now I just spin it to a positive. I'm like, that's amazing that they want to come film, or they want me in their advert, or they want me to do this.
Perspective is everything. And shout out to my best friend for that, because she inspired the video I made on TikTok.
Who's your best friend?
Karina.
Oh.
If you
That's the wrong answer when you have a sibling.
I used to be my best friend. You're my sibling, I'm my best friend. I have multiple best friends, but I don't.
Then they're not your best friend.
No, but I'm not counting the ones I'm related to. Anyway, so yeah, if you've seen that TikTok, my best friend said something to me that inspired that, and it was basically a conversation we had about complaining about answered prayers.
Okay.
Like we pray for something, we get it, and then we still find something to complain about within the prayer.
And that ties into what we're going to talk about today when it comes to marriage, because people
not
pray
you
for
being the host.
People pray for a partner, right? But then a wedding or a marriage or a relationship isn't perfect, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be things that you're going to complain about, but you have to kind of apply that same logic of, why am I complaining about this small thing when I prayed for this person to be here, or I wish this for myself? So on that note, let's get started.
This is not called Tommy told me, by the way. It's Tony told me.
This is called Tommy's telling you.
No, with that said, let's get started. I'm joking, with tea time with Tony. So you guys know what this section of the pod is about. It's about me answering your dilemmas. Sometimes I will answer them with a guest, or I will lean onto my guest for advice.
I'm absolutely going to jump in on this.
Yeah, no, I want you to. You're a guest, so you have to answer the dilemmas for today.
Okay.
Producer Anisha, we've got some dilemmas coming up.
Yeah. So our first dilemma says, "Hello, Tony. Thank you for giving us this platform to connect and hear from you. I'm dating this guy that treats me so well, loves me, makes me happy, reassures me, and has never given me a reason to doubt him.
Oh, wow.
He communicates and is consistent." Wow.
This guy is going to be bad the next part. Yeah. I can tell. ...
I would say he is what I didn't know I needed based on my horrible experiences with men in past relationships. Here is the dilemma. He is not career orientated, but very hardworking.
Okay.
Brackets, works 2 jobs 7 days a week as he is saving towards buying a house. However, I am a career person and have always wanted my significant other to be the same. Do you think I am settling? My friends ask me what he does, but I can't even give them a direct answer. Should I choose him based on him treating me well? Is that really enough? He has no plans to develop himself and have a career path ahead of him. Am I stressing over nothing? Ooh.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
I would have some questions. Obviously, like the listener's not here to answer them. But where she says she can't give a direct answer, is it because she doesn't know entirely, or she's ashamed?
It sounds like the latter.
She's ashamed.
Yeah, because she said he works 2 jobs, so she clearly knows what the jobs are.
Yeah,
but she's ashamed of the type of jobs that. Can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead. Please jump in. I would love to know what you think.
Anyone that is willing to work 2 jobs to go towards an end goal, I think that is someone that you can say is hardworking and determined.
Yeah.
And although they might not fit your ideology of what career driven is, it doesn't mean they're not a driven person. And I think that's displaying a level of discipline that a lot of individuals don't have, because a lot of people will be like, I want a house. And then you say, oh, they're not career driven because they just stay around, lounge around all day. They don't work hard. They're not developing themselves. This person's working 2 jobs to make sure they get the house. After he gets the house, you don't know what can come from that in terms of how he proceeds with his life. And also, as that person's partner, it's healthy to talk about, what do you see for yourself in the future? What are your goals going to be? And have you ever considered going further in your career, or taking up a specific or going into a specific industry, for example? But I think someone that's working 2 jobs, like working 1 job's hard work, working 2, and then they're treating you right. They're doing everything you want. The only thing they haven't got is your concept of what a hard-working person is. But this person's clearly.
I'm glad you said like your concept, because that's one thing I was thinking. I was thinking, like, you say he's not career driven, But you also like assert that he's hardworking.
Yeah.
So when you say career driven, what is that defined by? Like, how do we determine career driven? Is it that you're not working a minimum wage job?
Yeah.
Is it that you're working a job that is in an office? Is it that you're working a job that has potential for promotions down the line? Or do you feel like,
I think,
like how is she defining career?
Yeah.
Because to someone else, they might think he has a career. Like, how do we define career?
It's hard to speak on it without the context, but I think society has kind of programmed us to think that the only jobs that are worth taking seriously as a job are professional level jobs, even calling them professional versus people, because someone that works at in hospitality or works in a restaurant,
they're professional. What they do,
everyone's professional if they work, but society is kind of like programmed us to think that professional means office job. It means a lawyer, doctor, at the very least someone that works in like real estate, for example, where I don't think that's the case, because these are titles given to kind of put a divide in society, and it sounds as if the person communicating this dilemma has that mentality that if you're not on this side of the line, you're not a professional, you're not career driven. But again, it's hard to say without the context of what what she actually means.
Yeah.
Because is he working 2 jobs that are like an hour a week? You don't know what
kind of jobs they are.
You don't know what kind
but
of jobs
she also mentioned something, Anisha. She said something about like, is she settling? Like, she doesn't know if she's settling or something like that.
She's basically said like, am I settling? Is it really enough?
Okay, I think that goes into like, why are you laughing?
Because when is it ever enough? At the end of the day, when is that? She literally said he has everything, but he doesn't. He's not.
He is perfect.
Yeah. This person's perfect.
Job.
He treats me better than anyone's ever treated me. He works 2 jobs. He's working towards getting a house, but he's not career driven.
But do you know what that reminds me of? You know, first book. Did you read my first book? I wish I knew this earlier.
Yes.
Well done.
The audiobook.
Okay, I'll let you off. I do audio. Why are you looking like that?
I can't remember if I finished it.
Bruh.
I've been recently diagnosed with ADHD, so that's
Don't even use your ADHD. Don't use your ADHD diagnosis as an excuse. It be your own people. It be your own people. Anyway, in my book, I wish I knew this earlier, for those who have read it, there's a section about compromising v settling, and how sometimes we can make compromises and we can tell ourselves we're settling, or vice versa, right? And the way I defined settling versus compromising is that you're settling when you're with someone who has completely different values to you and who possesses one of your non-negotiables,
Absolutely.
right? You're settling if you're with someone who's unkind and you want a kind man.
Yeah.
Because that's one of your non-negotiables.
Yeah.
You're settling when someone is disloyal to you and you want someone loyal, and it's a non-negotiable. But you're not settling if you're with an amazing guy, but he's 5'11", he's not 6'4", right? You're not settling, you're compromising. And I feel like this is kind of the same thing. Like, she's asking whether she's settling, but I think she's actually made a compromise on the basis of him. Sounds like he's a kind man, a considerate man, a hardworking man, a caring man. She said he's everything she's ever wanted.
Yeah, that's
right?
crazy.
Bar that one thing.
Yeah.
So the question I think she needs to ask herself is, if she lost him,
would she be upset?
Yeah, how would that impact her? Like, is him not having a career as per her definition worth losing him?
Yeah. Especially she could find a career person that has nothing else that he has.
Yeah.
And then it's like
the 80-20 rule.
Yeah. Or you can find people that work in professional fields that actually aren't career driven. They just work in that field.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they have no
that's so
ambition
true.
to
Yeah,
progress.
that is
Whereas
so
this
true.
person, like I said, is working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway.
It's definitely giving me 80-20. Do you know the 80-20 rule?
Yes.
Do you want to define it for us?
No. Isn't it? You don't lose 80%.
Chasing the 20.
Chasing the remaining 20%.
That's it. It's the theory that in any one person, you will only ever find 80% maximum of everything you're looking for, right? That there'll always be something missing. Now, the 80% is just a vague way to just put a percentage on it. You might find 87%. I think you could find higher. You might find 91. But the point is, you will never find 100% in one person. Is it worth, if they're an 80, is it worth losing out on an 80, chasing a 20, and going for someone who's career driven, but actually he's a douchebag? So that's the question. I think
Douchebag.
she needs to. I say douchebag.
Wow.
Producer Anisha, you've got another dilemma for us, haven't you?
I do. This one says, "Hi Tony, I need your opinion on something, please. My man has a child with his ex, and they're often doing family activities together.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about this. Should a man be doing this if he has a girlfriend?"
Okay, I don't have a child. You have a child, so I would like to start with your
I
perspective.
do have a child.
So hypothetically,
Is she invited to these family activities?
it doesn't sound like she
No,
is.
but by the sounds of the dilemma, I don't think she is.
If you let me put it this way: if you had a partner and you were chilling with, you do have a partner. Let's say
And
your
he had a
partner has a
kid.
child.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, Tony, I'm just gonna take my child to the theme park with his mum. I'll see you later. It's a bit wild.
Do you know what it is? I think like it's very important when you have a child to be active in your child's life, right?
Absolutely.
But when you have a partner, there needs to be certain boundaries in place, right? When it comes to you and how you relate to your ex-partner, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like there are things you can do with your kid. Like, I think it's okay to do certain activities as a unit just for the comfort of your child. But for example, like, you shouldn't be staying over or sleeping over. You shouldn't be going on like vacation and not inviting
it's
your
hard.
new partner.
It's hard. It's a very, very difficult because none of us are in that position, and none of us are equipped to talk about navigating the complexities of that kind of relationship.
Yeah.
I think it boils down to, as the girlfriend, have you met the child? If so, have you been invited? If no, maybe then you say, can I come along?
So you agree that she's not bugging?
She's not bugging.
Yeah.
She's not bugging, but at the same time, we don't understand. Yeah, it's a bit mad right now. Wow.
Yeah,
that's a bit mad.
No, but I hear you though.
That's like,
you want your child to, even if the parents aren't together, you want them to experience both parents in a positive way.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
that's totally understandable, and I'm all for it. Like, one thing that I think is so important for women in particular who are dating men with children is to date men who are very involved in their children's lives, right? And date men who will choose their children over you. Facts. Like, you want a man who prioritizes his child because it tells you a lot about his character.
Absolutely.
However, he can't take the piss.
Yeah.
Like if you're feeling uncomfortable, like Tommy said, have that conversation. And if it's a thing whereby like you've met the child before, could you be included in some of those activities?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I think that's like if you
because
you have
vice versa, I'm not sure if he would probably like that.
Yeah, if she had a child
that's
and she
the
was...
thing, you've got to think, like, if the shoe was on the other foot.
Yeah, they wouldn't like that.
Because at one point in time, my parents were divorced and they did try their best, like, when either one had, like, different partners to include
so
the other parent.
you're a great person to ask, Anisha.
Okay, yeah. So
Sorry.
did you do activities with just your parents? Or?
When they had partners?
Yeah, they took it in turns. Like, they would come to, like, you know, if you did like a play at school,
Yeah.
they'd both come to that. Like,
Okay, that makes sense.
that makes sense.
But they're coming like as individuals to your performance.
individuals.
Do you know what's hard with these questions? You need more.
We need more context on the relationship
because
and like
if
what
it's like going to like theatre, like you said, plays and stuff.
Yeah.
You shouldn't let that
Like,
bother
my
you.
parents were very civil. They kept conversations to like a minimum.
Yeah.
However,
What?
if it's going to somewhere like, I don't know, Thought Park, that's a bit different. Like going to like a theme park's a bit different. Or going to like
invite your partner.
Yeah, I don't, you can invite your partner, but I don't know. It depends if the
do it
person's met the
separately.
child. There's boundaries that would be set, right?
Yeah, yeah. And also, like, I guess there's a question of who's initiating this, and
That's true.
yeah, in which way
yeah,
is
that's
it like?
a good one.
Is
And
he
how did the
one?
relationship end?
Exactly.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to say that.
Because if baby mom's always like, "Oh, come here, come here,
No,
come here,"
then it's-
I get why that would be annoying,
Yeah,
right?
we've got to put a line through that bad boy
Yeah.
because
So I guess what is the verdict? The verdict is it's appropriate to a degree.
Yeah, but it
Boundaries
depends-
should
it
be in
depends on the
place
yeah.
and communicate discomfort.
I was gonna say, like, I think if they were gonna go to like you said, like Thought Park,
on like
Yeah.
holiday.
if the
holiday's mad.
partner was like communicating like throughout the day, like
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
happening,
Yeah.
that could put the person at ease.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
Yeah,
I don't
I
have to
agree.
worry too much.
Yeah.
But then at the same time,
Are they all
Tommy's
getting on
face-
rides together? You sit next to him, are they all smiling away? Well, I don't know. There's a lot. There's like levels to this, isn't there? There's nuance that we can't really.
Yeah.
get into.
And this is why I've always said like if you're dating someone that has a child already is not for the weak.
That's an extreme sport.
It's an extreme sport.
Yeah.
You need to
Yeah.
be prepared. And if you're not someone who can handle the politics behind that, I get why you might be like, it's a no for me,
Yeah.
right? I get
Yeah.
it. But before we like go too deep into this dilemma side of the show, I also want to pinpoint Sisterhood Spotlight, which is coming up next. But before we do that, I want to let people know where they can send the dilemmas to. So first of all, big apologies to you guys, because I know some of you guys have been emailing and you probably been getting bounce backs. The actual email is tony@tonytoldmepod.com. That's tonytoldmepod.com. We were missing out the pod. So tony@tonytoldmepod.com. Alternatively, you could hit us via Instagram DM, Tony Told Me Pod. So @TonyToldMePod. So there are two ways that are equally as great. So apologies to anyone who sent a dilemma and it didn't go through, but please feel free to send again. All right, Tommy, we're getting into the nitty gritty part of the podcast.
Yeah.
You have been married to my amazing sister-in-law, Camille, for 4 years, since 2021.
Yes.
You've got a baby.
Yes.
You've got another baby on the way. You're going to be a father of two. That's so mad to me.
I know. That's when it's like official. Like you're not, like having one child is like, oh yeah, okay. Oh,
having
one child.
two.
Having two is like, wow, you really wanted this.
So let me give some insight into your wife, actually. So my sister-in-law, Camille, she is an amazing singer-songwriter. She has written songs for the likes of, Little Mix, for the likes of Jess Glynn. She's worked with Westlife. She's worked with, oh my God, so many people. Dua Lipa. She's got Grammys.
Yeah,
She's
she got
two.
Grammys,
Grammys, plural.
Wow.
She's amazing. And she's got her own tracks out. Like, make sure you check out her album, K1. It's amazing. She's got another one on the way. So yeah, she's fantastic. She is a go-getter. She's an amazing mother, an amazing wife. But I want to focus on you today.
Yes.
I want to ask you some questions about marriage. You knew that she was the one pretty early on.
Yeah, I knew, yeah.
Because I remember you saying...
After the first date.
Yeah, after the first date, you said, that's your wife. And that's crazy to me because obviously I had a similar experience and my partner had a similar experience. What made you know from so early on that that was your person?
I can't really explain it to someone that hasn't experienced it. And you must have the same issue trying to articulate it to people.
Yeah.
It's almost like an animalistic instinct inside you. Like a switch just goes off and you're like, whoa. You're like, oh, this is the person I'm going to marry. Like
it's like God tapped you on your shoulder.
Yeah, it's so it is the strangest thing because you experience what you deem as love before, right?
Yeah.
And then you experience, oh yeah, no, I can see a future with this person. I can see it. But I think when you meet the actual person, there is something that overwhelms you. Like there's an overwhelming sense of, I guess, confidence.
Yeah.
In this relationship and in this person.
Even though you just talk to them. For
yeah, even if you just talk to them, even if you just started talking to them, and then it's like, I guess it's like, oh, people know, oh, you know when you met your soulmate. I think it's a bit like that. You just know. You just so know.
An indescribable.
Yeah, I can't articulate it because people that have experienced it get it. Because I'll be like, do you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And I've spoken to other people that have had similar feelings.
Yeah.
It's just, it almost feels like something that, like a level of human nature that we're not really understanding.
Yeah.
Like almost like a sixth sense, like another.
It's almost.
Do you know
like
what I mean? Like
it's
just like, oh yeah, this is my person. I
voice
trust
in your
this
head.
person straight away.
Yeah.
I can confide in them, and I'm not the kind of person that will just talk. But with Camille, as soon as we met, I could just talk to her about anything.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about literally everything and anything, and I think that all came together to just give me that feeling of, oh wow, this is the person I'm gonna marry. It felt exactly like that.
That's insane.
Yeah, it
but
is.
yeah, no, I know what you mean. It is hard to describe.
But I would say though, as a caveat, because I feel like some people meet their partner and then they're expecting this big, oh my God, this is the person I'm gonna marry. It doesn't happen like that with everyone. I think some people it takes time to get to that point.
Yeah, and also I think it's that moment stood out to you and it stood out to me. Because we aren't people who feel like that so quickly. Because some people, no, it's true. Because some people, every guy they meet or every girl they meet, this is my wife, this is my husband, this is my wife, like every single time.
Yeah.
They throw themselves emotionally into the deep end. But where you and I aren't like that, it stood out to us when we had this feeling of, I think it's my husband, because we never had that before. But if you're someone where every guy is your husband, every woman is your wife, then maybe that's not the best barometer
and I think
for determining whether that person is the one.
Sometimes people think that they have that feeling and they think that someone is the one. Something happens in the relationship and then either they're not willing to compromise or something has violated someone's boundaries so much they leave the relationship, right? And I think knowing someone is that no matter what happens, you're going to stick by this person, and nothing, no matter how extreme it is, stuff that you would have ended previous relationships for, this person, you're willing to work together.
I don't know about how extreme.
No, it depends on how extreme, obviously. No, but because I'm naturally, I'm someone that's, I'm easily, what's the term that I'm looking for? Not easily offended, but
you are. You are easily fed up.
Yeah, I'm not easy. Like I have very high.
Okay, you have a willingness to show them grace.
Yes,
for
grace,
things that don't sit outside your non-negotiables.
Exactly, that's it. Exactly. Whereas before, if I'll just be like, okay, I'm not going to bother.
Oh, yeah. No, I hear it. Yeah, I agree. So as a married man, you could have easily met Camille and for whatever reason decided, I don't want to do this. What made you want to get married in a time where a lot of people think it's unimportant?
I think I've always wanted to get married because our parents are married. So there's something that I've always seen as like the norm, I guess. So it's difficult for me to be like, oh, I don't want to get married. But I think there's a beauty in willing to spend the rest of your life with someone knowing that it's going to end in kind of heartbreak, because they're either going to die or you're going to, do you know what I mean? Like that's how it ends. It's sad. It's a sad thing. And we set ourselves up for it.
I've read about this before, actually. Like in every relationship ends with heartbreak, even the relationships that don't end. Deep. Because if you don't break up, the other person will die or you will die. Every single, and that's the thing about love. That is, oh my God, I've seen producer and Sophia on camera like looking at us like, I'm like, what
it's the truth.
Just say that, but it's the bitter truth. But that's what makes love so beautiful. And I agree with you. Like there is beauty in that risk. There is beauty in the fact that you are pouring so much of yourself into someone,
one person
with the knowledge that
undeniable trust. And like a level of, do you know what it is? It's that unconditional love.
Yes, that's it.
No matter what, I'm willing to take whatever this love comes with.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And willing to spend, I can't even remember how we got to this, but willing to spend your life with someone knowing that it's going to end in either you dying or they're dying.
But you're together to the very end.
To the very end.
Yeah.
I think there's a beauty in that. And it is sad and it is a bit dark, but it's
beautiful.
It is beautiful. Do you know what I mean? And you see it. Do you know what you see with animals, right?
Yeah.
Where animals that form a bond with
lifelong bonds. Yeah.
But not even with other animals, but with humans.
Oh.
They form a lifelong bond with humans, and humans traditionally outlive the animals.
Yeah.
And there's a beauty in, I've got this puppy. The puppy's probably going to die in 10 years. But
I still
you still want to go through that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to...
the beauty of love far outweighs any sadness.
Any pain that comes with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very poetic.
Yeah, so I think... I can't remember why I even started talking about that.
Because I was asking you about like why you wanted to get married as opposed to just like...
So yeah, no, there's something beautiful about that. And then also it's the having your person. Do you know what I mean? Having your... This is my person. Die, like no matter what happens, like this is my person. If you want to go to a restaurant, that's your person you go with. If you want to go to church, that's your person you go with. If you're doing anything, you factor them into everything. And I love that. I love having someone that I care about so much that my day-to-day decisions
involves them,
even if they're not aware of it.
Like becoming a we and an us over just an I.
Yeah, there's something.
You mentioned something that I think is important to touch on. You touched on unconditional love, and I think that men and women can sometimes review unconditional love in different ways.
Yeah.
Like I remember being younger and being like, "Oh, my love has conditions," but then I've realized actually, I will love the person I love unconditionally, with the view that just because I love you unconditionally doesn't mean that I will stay through all conditions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, like, for example, my partner, there are certain things he could do that I would 100% not tolerate and we would be done, right? But that doesn't mean my love for you will just immediately die off.
Yeah.
I will protect myself and I will love you from afar, but I will love you unconditionally with the knowledge like I've poured so much into you and I just love who you are at your core, right?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes like men and women, not all men, but obviously men and women can sometimes review it differently. And I remember talking about unconditional love and how I could leave someone, but still love them unconditionally. And men would be like, see, it's not women got all these conditions. If a man cheats, you should stay, you should love him. But do you think unconditional means you're there forever through them doing everything? I feel like unconditional is about like,
do you know what unconditional
the
love
world
is?
Against us, things we can't control, like sickness,
exactly,
losing your job, and like it should be about you and I versus the issues we face in life.
Yeah, but then if you do something, that's you weren't even factoring our love into this decision. You weren't thinking about yourself.
Exactly.
Unconditional love is everything's about you factor your part in every decision.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
And I hear it with like for example, with siblings or with parents. Like, I love my brother unconditionally. There's stuff my brother can do that can make me so sad, that can upset me, that can disgust me, that can make me feel ashamed.
You wouldn't not love that person.
Yeah. But I'd be lying to myself if I said, if he did this, would I just stop loving him? No, I would still love him.
And you
I'd
get
be
that
disappointed, but I
with
still love him.
parents, that their child does something outrageous and then the child ends up in prison or whatever.
And they still visit their child.
No matter what their child does. That's unconditional love.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's dark. But
but that is unconditional love.
That's unconditional love, yeah.
What is one thing about marriage that you wish you knew before getting married, or that you wish someone had told you before you got married?
That's difficult, because I think I see myself as quite like aware of the challenges certain things bring. And it's not something I wish someone would tell me, or something I wish I knew because it's very obvious. But it's something that I wish I
paid more attention to?
Understood sooner.
Okay.
And it's that no matter how much time you spend together, no matter how many things you do together, or no matter what it is, you're always learning about your partner, right? And you're always developing. And I've always been under the belief that when you go into a relationship, you and your partner have come from two different tribes, right? Two different families.
Yeah.
You speak different languages. And then people get in a relationship and you're like, I want my partner to speak my language.
Yeah.
And then your partner's like, I want you to speak my language. But it's not about that. It's about creating your own language together for your tribe. And I wish that I was more aware of it, because I was at the beginning of the relationship, I was like, no, you don't do that. Or that's not that. Or vice versa.
Yeah. When
it should have been, okay, that's your language, this is my language. How can we find a balance or create our own language so we both understand each other? And I think that's something that I would put into practice sooner, because it could have avoided loads of, like, when I look back, I'm like, stuff we used to argue about, it's nonsensical. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why are we... Now I'm looking at it like... Why did that even like now, like... Camille and me, we'll look back at stuff and just laugh, because we're like, why are we even arguing over stuff? Because it seems so...
Mundane.
It's not even just mundane. It just seems so easy to solve.
Okay.
If you just take a second and understand that this person doesn't have to fit into your box. Like, you have a box together.
It's interesting hearing you speak about this stuff, because obviously, no, the way I say it's interesting.
Do you know why? It's because we always cuss each other.
Yeah, do you know what it is? I'm his older sister, right? He's my little brother. He's a grown man. He's in his 30s, right? You're 34.
34.
He's 34 years old. He's a grown-ass man, but to me, he's my little brother, right? And the way we engage with each other, like I'm sure you guys have clocked from this podcast, it's been unlike my other podcasts, because this is like a sibling dynamic.
Yeah, it's not serious.
It's not as serious. Like, we play with each other all the time. We fake bully each other all the time. So it's always interesting, and I'm sure you guys with siblings probably feel this way. It's always interesting hearing your sibling talk in a way that, even though I know you're intelligent, I know you're emotionally intelligent, I know you're intelligent, I know you're a great dad, I know you're a lovely husband, I know your wife adores you, your son adores you. But it's also interesting, though, to hear you talk like this, because it reminds me that, like, outside of being my brother, you are someone's dad.
Absolutely.
You're someone's husband.
Yeah. I get the same thing, not necessarily as much of you, because you're my older sister, right?
Okay,
so
fair.
I've always had someone to like look up to and be like, oh, Toni does this. But when Tara, our younger sister, when she starts saying profound things, or like doing, like, Tara be like, oh yeah, I'm going to work, I'm doing this. I'm like, you're just a child. she's a grown woman.
My sister, she's like 29 years old. I heard her on a work call. She came off the work call. She was killing it. I heard her on this work call. She came off this work call, and I was like, wow, you're really, really good at your job, aren't you?
It's weird, isn't it?
You're really respected in your company, aren't you? And she looked at me and rolled her eyes, because to us, she's our baby.
Yeah, little sister, like, do you know what I mean? Like, we just catch jokes, but to hear the person in, like, an environment
where they're like a grown up,
where they're a grown up, is weird. And that's what it must be like to see, for our parents to see us doing stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like, they changed our nappies, taught us how to read, and now we're here living our whole life.
Yeah, that's so
it's
true.
crazy, yeah.
how has marriage shaped you for the better? And also, how has your wife shaped you for the better?
Oh, my wife.
No, the smile is something else.
Okay, let me start with my wife. The way my wife shaped me is for the better. She's made me more appreciative of family because she's very family orientated.
Yes, she is.
Growing up as the middle child and as the boy, the only boy, you're not really family orientated. You're just like kind of living your life and going about things. But she showed me the value in family. Not that I didn't see it before, but she's taught me to appreciate it, and wherever I can, encourage like family interactions or do things, because like I think, oh wow, like when I DJ for almost 10 years, like you guys never came to my sets because I never asked you guys to come. I never even wanted you to be in that area of my life.
No, I would ask to come sometimes and you'd be like, no, come to my set.
No, and it's crazy because now it'll be completely different. I'm like, oh yeah, please come. So she showed me how to do that. She showed me.
You have become nicer since you got married.
Oh wow.
No, you have.
Okay.
Sorry, you have. You've become much nicer. Like I liked you before, but I like you more now.
Thanks. She's taught me not to worry as much. Not to worry as much has been a really, really good thing. She's taught me to just take life as it comes. Just, I don't know, like she's definitely shaped me to just be a better person all around. Even like to the level of like just being just a better person as a whole. Like in the way I treat people, in the way I communicate with people. I think she's taught me so many things. But I can't be like, oh, bullet point, she taught me this, because the person I am today is very different to the person that I was before I met Camille. Do you know what I mean? Like I've learned a lot about life, about what it means to be a partner, what it means to be there for someone. It's like, she's definitely made me a better person. With her, it just feels like finally like your world's whole, and it feels like a part of me that was missing, she's kind of like you know, a puzzle. Yeah, she kind of just filled in all the missing pieces, so now it's like, okay, like now I feel complete. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's getting emotional.
Really, really
like,
special.
Why am I about to tear up? Do you know what? It's just so beautiful to like hear people you care about find love like that.
Yeah.
I'm actually tearing up. That was so sweet.
Was it?
No, it was. Like it was so sweet to hear that you find so much satisfaction in your marriage, and that your wife has had such a positive, profound impact in your life. And for you to be so vocal about it, also in a day and age where a lot of men online, unfortunately, are very misogynistic. They don't say a lot of positive things about women. And to hear you speak so beautifully about your marriage and your wife is wonderful. Yeah. Like I'm honestly, like I've told this to you behind the scenes, but I'm insanely proud of you for how you have embraced this new chapter of your life and how you have become an even better person. Like it's wonderful to see. And I know that Camille's a massive part of that. And I'm so thankful. Like I remember meeting her and I loved her straight away. And I remember saying to her, like, you are one of the best things to ever happen to him.
Absolutely.
Like she truly is. She truly is. Who do you think marriage is more beneficial for, men or women?
I think it's mutually beneficial to the same level. I don't think it benefits anyone more or less. I think the way society is now, it's mutual. But I guess if you look back and say, oh, like 60 years ago, it probably benefits the women more to get married because women lacked certain rights and opportunities. But now it's like, now it benefits everyone. And I think that's what makes it even stranger that people aren't willing to get married as much anymore. Yeah. I think.
Well, the only reason why I asked that, because I remember reading some stats about marriage, and as someone who like became more open to the idea as I got older, I remember reading stats. I don't know if you've seen these, producer Anisha, about how like statistically.
Yeah, okay, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, statistically it's better for men.
They excel better in their careers.
Yes.
They excel better health-wise,
life expectancy.
Yeah, everything gets better. And do you know why that is? Because they're not chasing girls.
Thank you.
They're not chasing girls.
Is it because they're not chasing girls?
Because when you're not chasing girls, you have time to focus on work. You have time to focus on your health. You have time to focus on every other thing that's important in life.
Okay, on one hand, yeah, I could see how you can come to that conclusion. But then on the flip side, it's also not just the chasing girls element. There's also having a partner in your life who, let's look at a traditional cis hetero situation where it's a man and a woman, right? Having a female partner in your life, and traditionally women take on certain roles and household responsibilities. So is it that because you're not chasing girls, or is it because as a bachelor you have to take care of yourself entirely?
I don't think that's it.
But when you have a partner and she's picking up all this extra weight in the household, it frees up some of your mental space to focus solely on your career.
I don't necessarily
health,
think
I
is
think,
that.
no, on health, I look at the way, like, our parents, for example, who've been married for 36, 37 years, about how, like, mummy will tell dad, like, oh, don't eat this, try and do this, watch this. I think having
someone to be
a partner in your life holds you accountable in certain ways. And I think having a partner and potentially having a family, not even I think, I've spoken to men about this, and you've said this yourself, about how when you had a child and when you got married, there were new levels of ambition that you had never touched before because you felt responsible for another person.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was going to say.
Responsibility.
It's the responsibility. I wouldn't say someone telling you to do this, and that. You take up that responsibility yourself. Not everyone does it.
Yeah.
But it's because you're not chasing girls. Because look at it. No, think about it.
So I'm trying to understand this logic, right? Because if it is not chasing girls, then I have a question. Why is it then married women on average have worse health outcomes, worse life expectancy, and they typically earn less? Should they be chasing?
So when they're married, that's what we get.
I'm not sure I believe
we should be
this.
chasing boys then, because
No, I'm not sure I believe this. Why? Does that make... Okay, so you're saying...
Okay,
I see what you mean.
Yeah, I'm just trying to tackle that logic, because the reason why I think
does it involve children that married women?
Okay, yes, that's a big factor.
That's what I was
thinking. That's a big factor. In obviously... being married, potentially having children, or maybe being married with the knowledge that you may have children, will deter people from giving you certain roles, right? And then when you look at the health outcomes element and life expectancy element, I think that's partially because you feel responsible, and you are responsible for the lives of so many people, the lives of your children. There's an emotional... I don't want to use the word burden, but it is.
It's a burden.
It's an emotional burden that you never had when you were a single woman, right? So that is why I think it benefits men more. I think traditionally, when you look at traditional marriage, right? And you look at gender norms, right? I think women in heterosexual relationships typically alleviate stress from a man's life.
But they take that on at the same time.
Yes. And I think it's not always the other way around. I mean, sometimes it is. Like, you have partners that alleviate stress. Like, women will have male partners that are their peace, that alleviate stress. But then there are women with male partners that actually add further stress to their life or add further responsibility. So I think that could be it. A lot of listeners in my podcast are women. But if you were talking to men watching or listening, and you had to give them advice on how they can be better partners, what advice would you give them?
Listen to what your partner's saying. Pick up on the little things, definitely. The things that your partner mentions that they might find difficult or they might really like, and try and just show them that you're attentive. I think go on dates is a really big one. Camille and I, we go on dates quite a lot. Like, we spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, I love the fact that you've been married for 4 years, but you still do date nights.
We do everything together. Even when we drop my son to nursery, we do it together.
Yeah.
When we put him down to bed, we do it together. When we bath time, we don't have to. Yeah. Even people are like, wouldn't it be more efficient if one person did this? But it's just like...
Quality time.
Yeah, quality time. We just do stuff together. I think spending good time with your partner is really important, because the more time you spend, the more you learn about them. Yeah, just say yes to everything.
Yes. Can we emphasize that one? Just say yes to everything that your partner wants, that your wife wants. Yeah. Say yes, nod and say yes.
And you know what? Even if your partner is irritating you, even if your partner is irritating you or they're doing something you're finding annoying, just take a second and understand that it's probably out of love that they're saying this.
Yeah.
And just try and communicate that, I'm sorry that I didn't respond the way you wanted me to. It's just A, B, and C, but I hear what you were saying. Or like, I'm sorry I'm irritable today, this happened or that. Like, I've learned to do that recently. Just be like, sorry I'm irritable, this is bothering me, or I had this stress on my mind.
Yeah.
Partner's there to help you with those kind of things. You have to keep them to yourself.
I love that. You've been an amazing guest. I need to get you on again, because even though you were like bullying me in the beginning, I warmed up to you by the end.
Okay, so more bullying.
Gotcha. No, I'm joking. You've been wonderful. Thank you for being on the pod. You've been fantastic.
Who's going to pay for my Uber?
Can you just...
I'm joking. I've loved being here.
We'll talk about that.
I've loved being here.
Offline.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, you've been wonderful. And I always round off the episodes with some positive words. And you've been amazing so far. So I think I'm going to pass the baton over to you. Do you want to give some positive words in keeping with the theme of today's episode?
Marriage isn't easy. marriage isn't this magic thing that happens and then everything's fine. Marriage is a journey with people. Just like when you're going to work, when you see a speed bump, you don't turn around and go home, or you don't call it quits. You go over the speed bump. And no matter how much it shakes the car, no matter how much it throws you off, getting to the destination is absolutely worth it.
We are all done for today's episode, but make sure you come back next week for more talk and tea with me, the internet's big sister. You can find us on shush, brother, shush. You can find us where you listen to your podcast, and you can find us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Please ignore my brother.
Oh my God, you're my big sister.